Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and today I'm going to be doing a TV show review, and today it's on a children's show from 1969 to the present day, and of course it's also a children's show we all know the most and we've all known for a very long time, and that is Sesame Street. Now the plot of Sesame Street is basically where, it's basically made up like a sketch comedy full of animation and live action and full of puppets, and so on the show, you got this fictional location called Sesame Street, where you got like a bunch of these characters like we all know, including that we got the 123 Sesame Street apartment, and of course you got Hooper's store, and of course throughout each episode, you get these like sketches, like skits and all that stuff, and of course when I started watching this show when I was very little, ever since I was 1 year old. One season actually ends with an Elmo's World episode, which I used to like Elmo's World when I was very little, but to this day I think it's an okay show and segment. And then of course, and then at the end of each Sesame Street episode, they announce the sponsors, which are the number and letter sponsors. And so, yeah, so that's pretty much the plot of Sesame Street. Now, what do I think of it? I'm sure you guys already know what I think of Sesame Street. I never actually hated Sesame Street at all, because Sesame Street is actually one of the best children's shows ever made. Yeah, and also one of the most longest running children's shows of all time, because this show first came out on November 10th, 1969, which was so far like 50 years ago, and this show will turn 51 like this November. Yeah, including the 40th anniversary, which was awesome back in 2009, and then last year in 2019, that was when Sesame Street turned 50 years old. Yeah, and then of course we only got 10 more years until when this show turns 60 years old. This show will turn 60 years old on November 10th, 2029. And so 2029 does sound futuristic, and we don't know what's gonna happen that year, but yeah, that's pretty futuristic. So about Sesame Street, because I really love Sesame Street ever since I was a little kid. And even the old seasons were a part of my childhood, and I do remember watching like the old vintage sketches on YouTube, like back when I first discovered YouTube back in 2005, and between 2008 or 2009 or 2007, I remember watching most of the vintage Sesame Street sketches. I love many of the characters, like Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie are actually they're actually both my favorite characters on the show. Bert and Ernie, they're both awesome. Yeah, I do remember watching the Bert and Ernie sketches, and there's also Grover and Big Bird. And yeah, and also we can't forget about Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch and also Rosita and Zoe and Abby Cadabby, who was first introduced in 2006. Oh yeah, there was also a new character that was kind of recently introduced like a few years ago. Like her name is Julia, and I think she's like the first Sesame Street character with an autism with a disability, like an autism disability, like just like me, because it's like I have autism, and of course some of you guys can't tell me what I'm doing is wrong, because we all know that it's the fault of my mental health. So yeah, but of course but there are some times where we can't use autism as an excuse we can't really use autism as a shield to block criticism, and there are some times where we can't use autism as an explanation, as a reason on why we have this behavior, like different kinds of behaviors. But anyway, oh yeah, and there's like a bunch of other characters on Sesame Street as well, because there's like Elmo. Almost forgot about Elmo, because Elmo's actually one of the best characters on the show too. Yeah. And of course, there's also some Muppet characters that also appeared on Sesame Street too, like, because Kermit the Frog was also on Sesame Street as well, even though he doesn't count as a Sesame Street character, because Kermit the Frog is actually a Muppets character. But Kermit the Frog has made appearances on Sesame Street, because he first appeared on the Muppets, and then Kermit the Frog appeared in some sketches of Sesame Street. And of course the songs on the show are really good too, like the Rubber Ducky song and C is for Cookie, and yeah, C is for Cookie is definitely a classic song from Sesame Street. Same with Rubber Ducky. Yeah. And also, I do remember having lots of DVDs. I remember having lots of VHSs of Sesame Street when I was a kid. I used to have like, some Elmo's World VHSs, and I used to have the Best of Elmo on VHS. Yeah, you know, the Sesame Street home videos that were released by Sony Wonder. Like Sony Wonder with the sun and the logo. Because Sony Wonder was actually one of my childhood logos, and I don't really mind it at all, because yeah, Sony Wonder was just part of my childhood, and yeah, because when I think of Sony Wonder, I think of Sesame Street, yeah. And of course, it was made by Children's Television Workshop, which is the former name of Sesame Workshop, and Sesame Workshop is the current name for Children's Television Workshop. And of course, even in most episodes, there's like a lot of guest stars, like, and many celebrities that have guest starred on the show too. Like, there's like a lot of actors I know who guest starred on the show. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Yeah, Snuffy. I almost forgot about Snuffy. We can't forget about him. Yeah, definitely not. Can't forget about Snuffy, because he's a great character on the show too. And also, I actually do remember seeing the puppeteers like performing like Elmo and Abby Cadabby and Rosita live, like, because I do remember seeing Kevin Clash performing Elmo live, like Kevin Clash performing Elmo, and of course the other puppeteers who performed like Abby Cadabby and Rosita. I remember seeing them when they were promoting this documentary movie called Being Elmo: A Puppeteer's Journey. Because Being Elmo: A Puppeteer's Journey is basically this documentary where it talks about like the history of Kevin Clash on how he got involved and how he got involved with Sesame Street and how he got to play Elmo on the show. Yeah, but then of course in 2018, 2 years ago, Kevin Clash came back to puppeteering in the Happy Time Murders. But yeah, so my favorite sketches on Sesame Street are definitely the Bert and Ernie sketches, and of course I like the Grover sketches too, like how he causes trouble to this guy named Mr. Johnson. Yeah, and of course this is also a running gag in most sketches too, because some sketches on Sesame Street end with the character fainting, like, ugh. Yeah, that was like meant to be like in a funny way, in a funny mood there. Yeah, because I know Mr. Johnson has fainted so many times. Bert has fainted a few times, and yeah, because I think the fainting gag is basically the most used running gag on the show. Like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. Hopefully, I made you guys laugh on that one. So yeah, but yeah, so yeah, and there's like a lot to say about Sesame Street, like how it's it's like one of those shows where it teaches us the true meaning of friendship, like in some sketches where it teaches us the true meaning of friendship. Yeah. And also Sesame Street is also one of my most comfort shows of all time. Like I still remember it to this day, and basically, you know, and there's nothing wrong with nothing wrong with Sesame Street either, because yeah, it's because it's actually one of the best children's shows ever made when it first came out in 1969. And yeah, because and there's like so many characters on the show to name. Like there's like so many of them to name, and so many guest stars to name too. Like some of the Zootopia voice actors were also on the show too, like Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman. And of course some celebrities who aren't around on this planet anymore, like Kobe Bryant. Like Kobe Bryant actually made an appearance on Sesame Street defining the word miniature with Abby Cadabby, the late Kobe Bryant, who died earlier this year before the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Kobe Bryant. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Because there's like a lot of guest stars on the show there's like a lot of celebrities I know who guest starred on the show. Oh yeah, and maybe some former news anchors too. Like I know Matt Lauer was on Sesame Street as well. Like I saw this one sketch where Matt Lauer was on it, and that was like in the early days before some sources say that in 2014 like Matt Lauer did something very wrong, and the allegations weren't officially reported until late 2017 when after Matt Lauer made his final appearance on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and of course his final appearance on the Today Show. Yeah, and NBC News kind of made a wise decision and the right call to fire Matt Lauer. Yeah, but anyway, so overall, Sesame Street is one of the best children's shows ever made, and I'm gonna give Sesame Street a 5 out of 5. It definitely deserves 5 out of 5 because it has something very original. It's one of the best original children's shows ever since 1969. which was nearly 51 years ago, but mainly so far 50 years old. Like since it turned 50 last year, and yeah, because I actually love Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street. Like the old seasons are the best ones. I mean, the modern ones, I mean, they're okay. They're okay in my opinion, but at least it still teaches us, like, you know, like it's at least it still gets the younger view. It still keeps the younger viewers entertained. Yeah, it still keeps younger viewers entertained, like for the new seasons when it comes to the newer ones. But yeah, and of course there's also a YouTube channel as well, and I'm also subscribed to the Sesame Street YouTube channel too. Yeah, and of course, and there's also a spin-off. There's also a spin-off show called Play with Me Sesame, and I really love Play with Me Sesame as well. I actually have one Play with Me Sesame DVD called Playtime with Grover, and Sesame Street also has 2 movies too, which are Follow That Bird, which was a childhood movie of mine, Follow That Bird, and The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland. But yeah, so I think that's all there is to say for this TV show review on Sesame Street. So, like I said, overall, Sesame Street is one of the best original children's shows of all time. And like I said, I rated Sesame Street 5 out of 5 stars. It definitely deserves 5 out of 5 stars, yeah. But there you have it, guys. So that's going to be it for my very long TV show review on Sesame Street. So I hope you guys enjoyed my TV show review on Sesame Street. And so with that being said, until next time, don't forget to subscribe to the Mr. 8 Crizzy YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want, giving all the support. And hopefully I can reach 10,000 subscribers, which I'm sure I will, because I've been making lots of great videos like this. So feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and make sure to give this video a thumbs up. So with that being said, until next time, we're going to end this video here. So this is Mr. 8 Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.